everyone, welcome back to the Fatfish YouTube channel, and welcome to the Erebus Problem. Now, everyone loves complaining, and I love it too. I'm going to complain about something that I think is really annoying, and also kind of disruptive to people trying to actually learn about settings like Warhammer 40,000, Warhammer Fantasy, but also other settings, but these are just the ones that are most prevalent, and I'm involved in these two communities, so I actually have more knowledge on them. But I'm sure if you look up any other setting, there's going to be an example of the Erebus Problem. So, let's get right into it. What is the Erebus Problem? So the Erebus Problem is my name for something, for a character that you cannot actually get a good video on, because every time you watch a video of this, the YouTuber spends the entire episode ranting about how angry they are at the character. And the worst part is, this isn't because the character is poorly written, which sometimes people will rant too much about a poorly written character. But these are usually characters actually really well written, but just do things. I'm sorry, my throat's a bit sore. Just do things that make you mad in the story, and yet these characters will be completely unable to be learned about because of this reputation. So an example of a character with the Erebus Problem is that if you try to watch a video about a character, instead of learning about the character, you'll watch a YouTuber with a failing lung weasel out his death threats to a fictional monster character, about how they want to torture him in various ways. If this joke has been repeated for the 8th time in a 10-minute video, you know this character is the Erebus Problem. If you see a YouTuber completely misrepresenting how a character acts, their motivations, or the events of what happens to a character because they don't like them, this character is the Erebus Problem. This is a very big example because Erebus is very heavily misrepresented by this, but it's not just Erebus, there's other characters, like this guy, Mr. Manfred. Or worst of all, a YouTuber just entirely making something up, or just saying a story beat happened differently than it did without any elaboration repeatedly because they want to make the character look worse. All of these are examples of Erebus problems, and this is Manfred. By the way, the guy in the first slide was Erebus, if you don't know. This is Lorgar, also a sufferer of the Erebus Problem. So, why is this problem a problem? Why am I complaining? Because the Erebus Problem could be a big issue for people actually understanding characters, when in the modern era, most people don't read every 40,000 heresy book when the Horus Heresy is nearly as long as the fucking Odyssey. Instead, they will watch videos or read-overs of it, which is okay. I don't think it's a bad thing if the source is good. A Wikipedia page on a Grail Knight, for example, is just as good as any video on a Grail Knight, because in the end, wikis aren't that unreliable. So it's not like I hate people for looking up wikis or I hate people for watching videos. It's that because of this, it makes them susceptible to the Erebus Problem. So the problems can include people being misled to think a character is poorly written or lacks depth and just avoids work with them involved. Do you know who caused this for a very major character in Warhammer? 1, Lorgar, but 2, TTS. TTS, which actually was never funny, by the way, dropping that truth nuke right now, the truth nuke, made Robuti Gilliman so disliked by people that no one read about him until James Workshop dropped so much peak from him and made him such a good character that they had to stop the endless unfunny Smurf jokes. But he was actually disliked heavily simply because of one popular YouTuber not liking him and doing the Erebus Problem, and he was actually really disliked despite the fact he was one of the coolest Primarchs ever. And another thing is that people will misunderstand the work. They literally just won't understand what the actual events of the story. Did you know most Warhammer fans think that Erebus died to Karn the Betrayer? That's not true. He's alive. You can actually see Erebus doing stuff in the story, and it's really interesting. No one knows about it because everyone just assumes he dies to Karn because no one talks about Erebus in 40k, even though he's really cool. And something even worse. This doesn't happen to Warhammer, thank you. Because they don't make their characters obey the will of the fan base for better or worse, is a company will feed into this trope. So say a character is previously a competent, villainous character, but he's still pretty cool to read about. But then they see online there's a meme about him, how stupid and weak he is, and they want to get in on that action. So what they'll do is they will make the character retroactively weaker and have more, failings to satisfy what they see as a market opportunity, and then the character just stops being a good character and just becomes a flanderization of himself. This has happened to some indie works, but it hasn't happened to anything big yet. But overall, big problem, And also, just adding it on, it's so annoying because you can never learn anything about these characters, and it's not even funny. I don't want to hear for the 50th time how you tell some weaselly, overweight man behind the screen hates the character in the book. I don't care about that, and it's boring, and I'm sure many of you can agree and attest to this. So why do people fall into the Erebus problem? Here's Robute Gilliman in all his glory. You see, even when he got his own Primarch books, he was hated on just because of some annoying people on YouTube. But now, he was so well written and so beautiful and so cool that even the detractors had to obey his glorious. Look at him. I love Robute Gilliman. He's the best. He's one of the best Primarchs, actually. My second favorite. He's third to Lorgar, Dorn, and fourth is Perturabo. By the way, this is my opinion. So why do YouTubers fall into the Erebus problem? So many of them fear that a video might not be engaging. After all, many people don't want to listen to as a flat reading, as some people will know from certain channels, which are really boring for this very reason. So they want to add jokes, and that's fine. But some people will take it too far, and it actually disrupts the video's use. Additionally, I like to call this inbreeding problem. Is that people will watch a YouTuber with the Erebus problem, then get the wrong idea about a character, then they make another video on him using the knowledge from the video they learned, and it becomes more misrepresented, like some kind of like cycle. And that happens on occasion, where people will watch a bad YouTube video on something, and then they'll make a worse YouTube video, and it'll keep repeating until basically every video on them sucks, until some mastermind makes an actually good video on the subject. So, if you rely on poor subjects, it can cause this. And sadly, worst of all, is that a lot of these people genuinely are so disturbed that if they see a character make them mad, they get so mad they will do things like make a video slandering them for no reason, because they're genuinely just that mad that their favorite character was killed by the goat. Erebus is the goat, by the way, just saying. So how do you stop doing the Erebus problem? Let's say you're a YouTuber, a fatfish. If you watch this and you're a big YouTuber, thank you. I'm very glad, and I appreciate your support. So I'll give you a guide on how to do it. So let me give you a sign that you're falling into the Erebus problem. If you have made a joke about torturing the character 15 times in the same video, it's not funny anymore. The joke is not funny anymore, and it's ass. And people will find that joke annoying, especially when you don't twist it in any way. If you've made the same joke about a character you want to torture, especially right back to back, right after each other, just don't do it. Add another joke, or just talk for a moment without speaking like some kind of Rick and Morty character. You quip every 5 seconds. It's okay to not mention how much you hate a character for a few seconds. Okay? And if you do this, in fact, many people will not watch your video because they will get tired of not being able to actually understand what you're saying because you keep interrupting them with your whining. So try to keep that joke from appearing over and over. 2, make sure you actually read the thing you talk about. Very difficult. A lot of fans, Undertale fans suffer this especially. Most of them don't even play their game. But worse, most of them can't read text in their game. So this is a big problem over there. And in Warhammer, the same issue happens. The same issue happens in the Warhammer community and other communities, but they don't read anything. So it's okay. You just have to read your sources, read a wiki or something, read 2 wikis and make sure the other wiki isn't bad, and then if you have the money, purchase the actual source of the material you're looking at. And it's okay to watch a video, but make sure it's a good video, and make sure you can actually recognize what's true and what's not. And 3, if you're making a joke about a character, and the joke involves you completely misrepresenting something that happened, that's fine. But if you want your video to actually help people understand the setting, you have to add a little thing like, oh, actually, they did pretty good in the fight. So let's say, I don't like X guy, and I don't like Chungus Knight, and he loses the fight to the Poop Baron, okay? I would be like, and the Poop Baron destroyed him with no difficulty. And then I would say, but actually, he fought pretty hard, and he even wounded him. I would add the truth to it so people would understand the matter. Because let's say that fight's very important, like it's an honor duel. If a character loses completely terribly to one, and one they fight fair, that could change dynamics a lot. So make sure you actually tell people what actually happened. It's very hard for people to understand, but people watch your videos so they actually know what the fuck is going on in the thing. So please, stop being stupid. Let me move on to the final slide. Thank you. I made this one because I watched a video and it had this problem, and I really was mad about it, and I was so mad I made this video immediately. It's not my best work, and I have to go eat dinner right now. I'm a bit late for dinner. But I hope you enjoyed the seal, and I hope you enjoy my video on the Erebus problem. Thank you.